Welcome, everyone, to Ladies of the Kitchen 30-minute chat. And today, first of all, I'm excited because this is episode 22. We're entering to the latter part of the year, and I couldn't even be more excited than to have somebody that I feel has done something amazing in the first half of this year, and that is Barb Drummond. Right there, that you see her. She's a stellar example to me of a woman entrepreneur that really has expanded herself out of the norm in a box. If you listen carefully, she has just enough of a cute accent for those of you that live in America, because she's from Alberta, Canada. And so I love just even listening to her. She's a recent winner and writer of the International Impact Book Award. Congrats on that. She was interviewed by CBC Radio show where she speaks openly about living with a family member suffering from Alzheimer's. And she spent a lot of time with her mom, which was a family member, Sybil. And she put that experience into a book that I have the privilege of having, you guys. I don't know if you can see it or not. It's kind of like glittery, but she'll be talking about that book. And I just am so excited to have Barb Drummond on the show. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Maria. It's going to be fun to be here. I just know it.
So I'm sure everyone sitting here right now, if they don't already have their cup of coffee, I know one of the first things they're curious about is I mentioned Sybil, I mentioned your mom, I mentioned Alzheimer's. Can you put all that together and tell the people if your mom was here, because your mom is about, I mean, the book is about that experience, what you think your mom would be saying to you about this book and that experience?
Well, Maria, I think the first thing she would say is, how dare you put me on the cover of a book in my bathing suit, smoking a cigarette with varicose veins. But I think the second thing is she'd be pretty proud to say thanks for sharing my story and thanks for getting it out there for other people that are living with Alzheimer's or have a family member living with Alzheimer's. And I think she'd laugh. Mom was very much into humor and sharing laughter. And I think she'd be very happy with the way that I shared her story, I think.
Why don't you share with everyone the title and how that evolved into an actual book? And as a result of that, you guys, we both were blessed to meet each other, and she got an International Impact Book Award. So that's a big deal. Go ahead.
Thanks, Maria. So the title is, as Maria showed you, perhaps you couldn't read it, but the title
Oh,
is,
there. It's showing up a little bit better on your screen. Yes.
I Finally Have the Smoking Hot Body I've Always Wanted, Having Been Cremated. And it's the story of my mom, the woman, Alzheimer's, and the hilarious obituary that turned my dead mother into an instant worldwide celebrity. So the title actually came from the obituary that I wrote for my mom in 2019. And I wrote it in first person as though mom had written it. So in there, one of the lines was, I finally have the smoking hot body I've always wanted, having been cremated. So it only made sense that that then became the title for the book. And the obituary went viral, like we're talking worldwide, hundreds of thousands of people viral over some quirky little obituary that we wanted to give mom her last voice. There was some wine involved, which could have contributed to that. But so when people read it, they said, oh, we need more Sybil stories. We need to hear more about your mom. So then over time, I thought, okay, let's share some more stories about mom. So the book, it's a short, quick read, hilarious.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
There's a few potty words in there, but it takes place over about 9 days when I go back to help out with her service. And over the years, when I'd been away, mom had written me letters. So I took those letters with me. So the letters help move back and forth in time, and you get to see mom before Alzheimer's, during Alzheimer's, and then living in towards the end of life with Alzheimer's. So it's short, condensed, poignant, quirky, hilarious, sort of all the feels. Lots of readers have said that it's a beautiful way to talk about a dark subject in a funny way.
In a
And I,
funny way, which
right, I
is
think,
what people can relate to, humor and their feelings come out better. I get that. One thing that I thought was interesting about the book, you've got some pictures in there, but you said there was really only one baby picture of you. Now, how, because I know you have a bunch of kids. I have two. I think you said you had four. Why is it there was only one baby pic?
that's a really good question. I don't know, with the busyness of life. So mom
Okay.
had already had three children before me.
Oh, okay.
I,
So you're in,
yeah,
yeah, okay.
and I was
That
the
probably
fourth.
had something to do with
I,
it.
I think so. So it was rare for me to find. And then, of course, the story in the book about me being told I was adopted, having only one baby picture really played into that. And
Okay.
then when my younger brother came along, there's a 4 years difference with us. And of course, oh, here's the last baby kind of thing. And so there was tons of pictures of him. So that's a rare photo in there.
Now, I noticed on your like past history, resume and everything that you are like a digital creator for your career. Is that correct? Or
No, I do that now with being an author, but my husband and I, we own some Tim Horton restaurants in Alberta, northern Alberta.
oh,
Mhm.
oh wow. Okay, so between the two, you're pretty busy.
Yeah, we are
So,
actually.
so when you were a kid, did anything that you're doing now, was any of your dreams as a kid part of this vision? Did
Not
you
to,
like to write? Did you like to what
I
you're doing with your
didn't
husband?
discover that, Maria, till a little bit later on. So prior to our Tim Hortons life, I was an administrator at a school. And I also had an education center where we did all sorts of specialized testings to find out why the underlying reasons why children don't learn or can't learn. And when I was teaching, I thought, oh, I'll maybe write a children's book. That was a goal of mine. I wanted to be my name to be on the playground, that, oh, Barb Hicks or Barb Drummond, everybody would know that name. But when life gets busy, it just sort of goes into the background. And of course, we've had some very busy times, of course, having children. And with our youngest son with special needs, Clark was born with Down syndrome. That brought lots of significant health issues. So he's had open heart surgery and leukemia and whatever can be thrown that way. Clark had it or got it. And so everything that, you personally, those personal goals fall to the side because you have a family and, you need to
Right.
be focusing on them. So it wasn't until my mom passed away that sort of desire to write resurfaced. I also belong to a scribbly writing program. It's a wonderful program for women who ease you gently into writing if you have any desire to write or you want to try it out. It's a brilliant program by Kim Duke. And once I started writing again, that's where Kim asked me one time, how badly do you want to write your book, Barb? And I said, badly. And so I gave my pitch to her and she said, I think you need to write that book.
Oh, that's wonderful. So having done that, during all these trials and tribulations, or I like to call them challenges of life that make you grow, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Was there a favorite book you that helped you that you navigated towards, or that you can say this book was really special to me?
Mhm. That's a tough question, Maria, because there are so many. I don't know if I have one favorite or one that I actually gravitated to, because I think that, well, I have shelves full of favorite books, but I think to have a favorite book, it depends on
The
the
season, huh? The season you're in.
yeah, or the who I'm meant to be that day,
Day.
right?
Yeah.
Or the adventure that I want to have or the information I want to find. So I find new favorites all the time. And it's not that the other favorites go away, it's just that at that particular moment it's a new favorite. But if I was to drop some books that I think are favorites and that have hung with me, I'd have to say anything by Nora Ephron, hilarious writer. Um, she is funny, witty, and deals with some difficult topics as well. Terry Follis, he is hilarious, witty political satire author. Found him not too long ago. And let's see, I would say Joe Dibley. I'm not sure if you've heard of
Hmm.
her. Rock
Mm.
Off is
I
hers.
just recently did.
Very,
Yeah.
very powerful book. It lingers with you. And Left by Bonnie Thompson. The Trader's Daughter by Roxana Spicer. There's just so many, Maria. There's
Isn't there?
things,
I find
those are
that.
my recent ones that I read or reread,
Yeah.
recently, but they really do hang with you for some reason or another.
Yeah,
So,
and I like the
mm,
fact that as an educator, because I too come, I'm a former
right.
teacher, that we realize that we're always a student and there's
Yes.
always something we're going to
Mhm,
require to learn or to grow. And I
mhm,
can see that with your challenges, humor was really an important avenue to get by,
mhm.
I'm sure, and
Yeah.
just from some of the books that you mentioned. So I kudos for that. What is a surprising little fun tidbit about you? Because having, the child that you had to raise under really difficult circumstances, I'm sure, then your mom and just life in general, right? Being a mom, creating a business, all those things in a bubble.
Mhm.
What is something that people would, if they didn't know you, would go, whoa, she did that? Or what would be that surprising little bit about you?
Well, there's a few things that have happened over the years for sure, whether they're awards and different accolades, things like that. Having received a provincial teaching award, my husband and I won a lifetime achievement award with our businesses. Those are pretty cool, but people do know that it's sort of generally out there in the
Right.
public. But I think one thing that would be very surprising for people to realize is that I'm an assassin. It's a virtual assassin. So, those virtual headsets, the virtual reality games. So,
Yeah.
a few years ago, a friend and I went to Victoria, ended up in an arcade, and we started playing these virtual reality games. So,
Okay.
one in particular is called Elven Assassin.
Okay.
And we put on the headsets, we end up in this virtual world on these towers, and off the shores or off the water, different caves, different castles, these orcs and these ugly trolls and giants come
Or after you.
and they're after us. So with bow and arrow, my friend and I will kill these orcs. So we're called assassins. And here we are, in our 60s and
And
playing
you're
this.
doing this. I love it.
And so she lives in Edmonton, I'm in Peace River, and so we can chat while we're killing these orcs. So, and it's such a stress, you're out there and you're really getting physical trying to, shoot these things, and you're having a good visit, but you're not focused on anything that's
Oh.
in reality. So I highly recommend it if anybody's interested or
Oh,
has
and it's
ever
such a
done it
good
before.
avenue for release, right? Just
That's
to, oh
it.
my God, I
Mhm.
love that. Thank you for, like, you're right. I
Not
wouldn't have
done.
put you there. So I think that's great that you shared that. Is there one person or entity or organization that you really look up to?
Again, there's several. These questions are pretty difficult to pinpoint, but I think people living with diverse abilities, say, for example, our son Clark, my friend Megan, my friend Clara, they all have some form of diverse ability, yet they're out there living their best life, authentic lives, kindness, patient, resilient, and they're out there killing it. Whether they're artists or fashion designers, um, absolutely love theater or movies. I think to me that when I look at somebody that has a diverse ability and is out there just living life large, to me they're my heroes.
I
Mhm.
love that. Thank you. What was your very, very first job and what did you think it taught you?
Mm. My very first job, I at 12, I was a babysitter.
Isn't
And I
that
look back
funny?
and
So many of us women in our age group were that.
and I don't think I trust my former 12-year-old self to my babies.
Me too.
So, okay, I did okay there, which was interesting. But my very first sort of paid job was in high school when I worked at a decorating center where we tinted paint and sold wallpaper. I repaired lamps and rewired lamps. And dealt with customers. So I think dealing with customers, having a job in high school really taught me a lot about, how to deal with different issues or time or, there's lots of things that I learned in that job that are still true today when dealing with customers for sure.
Oh.
So, yeah.
So far, up to this point in life, do you feel you've had a pinpoint moment that you go, wow, that was such a memorable moment?
Wow, there's so many again, but
Mhm.
you know, CBC talking with Min Dhariwal, participating in the Edmonton Opera panelist, um, having a nice chat with Terry Fallis. There's been some really cool things that have happened that where the book has taken on a life of its own. But again, those those moments where you think, oh, if I've made it, I really made the big time. I'm not sure I've made it yet.
Yeah, isn't
I
that
think it,
interesting? I've had so many people on this interview, and they said,
Mhm.
I've had so many great moments, but I don't know if I've made it yet or not. Maybe I have, maybe I haven't, but I have so many. Yeah, I love that
I
viewpoint.
think I think if Mom's story was to make it into a quirky little movie, hey, I think then maybe I'd say, hey, I've been working on good things.
I
So,
have a feeling you're on that road. I really do, because it would be so much fun.
right?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so choice, more money, more time. What is it?
I don't know if there's a right answer that you're looking for, but I'd have to say both, really. They sort of have that equal attraction. If I think more time, okay, what would I really do with that time? Am I just going to continue cleaning? Am I going to, do the boring stuff that needs to be done with that extra time, or would I actually do something fun and exciting? But I think if I had more money, then I could hire somebody to do all those boring,
Things, right?
the day-to-day things that have to be done, but you don't really want to do them. So I think that if I had more money, then hire somebody to do that and then go off and do all the fun, exciting things. So I
Yeah,
have to
it's
say
a
both.
tricky question
Right.
because
Yeah.
you sometimes enjoy doing these quirky things, or things arise when you're doing them, or you release a lot of energy, when you're doing laundry. Sometimes, even when I'm cooking and baking, I'm feeling like I'm in my happiest moment, and yet I'm
Mhm.
doing it for a family that's coming over.
Right.
Would I really want to hire somebody when I've had so much fun making that lasagna or whatever it was,
Sure.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's true.
so it is kind of, but I always love to hear what people have to say. So, what would you want to be remembered as, or in your legacy? What is that for you?
You really know how to throw out the tough questions, Maria, to be remembered for. Well, I hope some people would say, okay, Barb, she was funny, she made me laugh, or Barb was really kind, she saw me. Maybe, ooh, Barb has great shoes, but no, in all seriousness, just I think
You
that
do, by the way.
I think if I've impacted somebody's life along the way in however, whatever means something to them, if they felt seen or I've made an impact on somebody's life, then that's a nice way to be remembered.
A lot of, I'm sure you've been involved with a lot of mentors, coaches, and a lot of them stress the importance of a consistent morning routine. And I'm
Mhm.
always curious to hear the variety of different people. Like some people go, "Oh, no matter what, I'm out the door at such and such time, go to the gym." Or no matter what, I always meditate and journal, which is part of my routine. So I'm
Yeah,
curious, do you have a morning routine and what does it look like?
I do, or we do, my husband and I. We are typically up very early. I'd like to say that I'm at part of the 5 o'clock a.m. club, but I am up at 5-ish, but I'm not part of that club that's doing amazing things already at 5. Typically it's up to let the dogs out and then, make a cup of coffee, but I usually take that coffee back to bed and we sit and scroll and chat or read. honestly, it's my favorite time of the day. It's quiet, things aren't busy, having a cup of coffee, catching up on, what we're doing the next couple of days or what we want to do and things like that. So I'd have to say my morning coffee in bed is my routine.
Oh, I love that.
I
That
find
is
time to
so
read, but I don't find time to exercise except with that. Here we
Um,
are.
so with that said, as you know, I'm one of my thing is I'm a foodie lover, having owned a restaurant, just my cultural
Right.
background, everything. So I'm always curious what people's favorite food is. Do you have a favorite food that you just know you have to have at least once or twice a month?
Oh, wow. Hmm. There's so many, so many choices, Maria, but I think that if I had, so to speak, that last meal, it would be a butter tart.
Hmm.
I absolutely love homemade butter tarts.
Now, is there a special one that is done in Canada versus like an American butter tart? Because
Um,
we sometimes use different ingredients. You guys have some privy to certain items that we don't, and vice versa.
right. I think some people make them with pecans, some people make them with raisins and so on. My
Right.
sister makes a killer, Brenda, my sister, she makes a killer butter tart, and it's just nice, thick. Um, the the crust is amazing and it's nice and goopy and gooey in the middle, and she does add raisins, which I
Oh,
do
that
like.
sounds so
Yeah.
good. So is it considered both a morning and a dessert of some kind, like a morning pastry as
Uh,
well as a dessert, or
um,
you can eat it any time, or
you can eat it any time, but I think it's more of a dessert. I think for me it would be just too sweet to have in the morning, but you know, little afternoon snack and a coffee would be great. So
okay,
mhm.
so this is another trick food question. If you had to take your life and describe it in a dish, what dish would that be?
Oh, I have to say that's a really good question, Maria. I think it would have to be a plate of spaghetti,
Hmm.
because it's just life can be, you know, messy, chaotic. It's sort of swirled out there, and sometimes you end up with this great, fantastic meatball, and something exciting happens, and then you have to go search for another one. So I don't know. I think spaghetti is pretty good, and
Oh my
then
gosh, this is
when
so
when
funny. There was a girl that I interviewed recently, and she said the same thing, but you know what
oh
she
really?
added? She said that, and my mom is the one that taught me how to make the marinara, so I always think about swirling around with my mom.
Cute, cute.
I
Okay.
just thought that was so cute. So
Yeah,
you're not alone with the spaghetti thing.
it's
So
funny.
there's a lot of women that are listening to us, and I'm sure some of them are thinking, well, I could never do what Maria did. I could never do what she's done. And they both look so happy and vibrant, and hopefully they're thinking we look hot and young. But for those women that are listening and are going to hopefully go out and buy her killer book, she might send you one signed, you guys, if you note on the notes below. But what would be the piece of advice that you would say to someone? Because honestly, we've always been in a mode, I think, having that common, I was going to be a student mode in our brains of kind of reinventing ourselves or always looking for some new way to share our story with the world, right? So, what would be the piece of advice you would say to someone that's at a crossroads that's going, okay, now I'm done with this career. My kids are out the door. I'm still vibrant. I don't know what to do, where to go. Anything you could share with that person that's kind of like, whoa, there's so many choices in front of me, and I don't even know where to start.
Mhm. That's a good question again. I think off the top of my head, I would have to say, if you're not sure what you want to do, then write down the list. And my husband is famous for telling
Oh,
our kids this, is that write down what you don't want to do. So eliminate that. And then there's all sorts of endless possibilities after that. But if there is one thing that you want to do, you want to write a book, you want to become a fashion designer, you want to become a digital creator, whatever that is, do it. Just take the risk, because you don't want to end up at the end of your life like, oh, I should have done it. I should have taken more risks. I should have tried that. I think do it. Take those risks. Risks come, or success comes with taking risks. There isn't a person out there that hasn't been highly successful that didn't take a risk for it, right? So another famous quote by my husband, he says, failing is not an option. If you know that you have to do this, or you really, really want to accomplish this, then failing's not an option. Just do it. Just
Oh, I
go for it.
love it. Now, you mentioned risk a lot,
Mhm.
and I know that that obviously involves fear, right? So, how would you explain to someone, because both you and I, as much as we both knew we needed to put our story on paper,
Mhm.
I want to hear about your experience with the fear, with the risk in writing the book about your mom.
To me, the fear was if it's if I'm talking about a difficult subject with humor, are people going to think that I'm laughing at the disease or laughing at situations that happened with mom? And that's not it. For me, it was a coping mechanism as it was, when mom found out and, dealing with some of the more difficult things that happened throughout her living with Alzheimer's. But I think that um, the alternate of not laughing, not finding the humor is pretty dark. So I think that writing it the way that mom lived her life, which was full of humor, as with the book, it was, you just can't make this stuff up. It was
Yeah.
quite hilarious, and the things and the way my mom was, she was quirky, funny, all of that. And I think it was a way to honor her and give a vision to people of what she was like before the disease, and then realize at the end that, Alzheimer's has taken out a pretty dynamic woman. I was a bit afraid of how walking down memory lane, I would keep running into mom and dad with the stories and the things I wanted to share. So it was pretty difficult, but at the same time, it was also very cathartic, where it was um, a way to grieve, I guess. So it is scary. Lots of things that are important and are meaningful. There is that element of fear. So I'd say be afraid, but do it anyway.
Yeah, be afraid, but do it anyway. Were your kids supportive and
Oh
your
yes.
immediate family members?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My husband, do it, go for it. The kids, would suffer through, hey, listen to this. What do you think about this? So that was kind of cool. But yeah, and my sister, she's like my dad. She has all dates and facts, and she was able to help me when I say, when did this happen or when did that happen?
Happen.
She was
Yes.
she was great.
So are
So
you currently doing a book right now?
I have a few others lined up. Um, Not to spoil things, but a little bit of a
Right.
spoiler alert. It will be hilarious, slightly uncomfortable, and
No doubt.
may involve at least one corpse. So yes.
Oh my gosh, that's so exciting. So, tell us, besides that little spoiler alert, how you see yourself 5 years from now.
Well, I'd really like to connect with um, Gavin Crawford or Seth Rogen, Viggo Mortensen, maybe Jan Arden, people that have had their life touched by someone with Alzheimer's, and maybe do an interview with them. I think that would be pretty spectacular. Um, continuing to write. And I'd also like to do some professional speaking gigs. It'd be pretty
Oh,
cool.
that's
So,
awesome. What do you think
yeah.
is the most like thwarted fact that people don't realize about Alzheimer's that you're coming to find out? Like they've got it all jacked up wrong.
Mm, I don't know if they do. I
You
think
think
that
people are really getting what
I
the disease is now? Well, and I
I
don't even like to label it a disease anymore
yeah,
myself.
yeah, it's hard to what to call
Yeah,
it, but I think one of the biggest things, maybe the struggles when caregivers are with their loved one with Alzheimer's, is my dad really struggled with lying to mom, or what he felt was lying to her. You know, if she said that she was the Queen of England, well, who cares? She thinks she's the Queen of England. It's not trying to keep her in our reality. That's her new reality, is where you need to go where she is at that particular moment. And it's not lying. What you're doing is you're living in her moment at that time. And lots of people get hung up on that they don't want to lie, but you have to change that mindset and think, no, we're just going to go along with it and live in her world now.
I love that. And that's a hard place to navigate because A, you do feel you're lying, and then a part of you goes, well, this is weird. I'm not feeling comfortable about, like,
Mhm.
what am I supposed to do? Go get my king hat on or something, you know? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, oh, all right. Well, let's wrap this up by two things. What is it that you feel you would love to have as your one line little mantra, that if people thought of you, this would explain it? This would be it. Barb, the crazy lady, Barb, the fun. What would be that one liner?
You know, Maria, I don't know.
I can
That is
tell
a
you.
really good question. Okay, you tell me. That'll be
I
better.
would say Barb, the woman that has touched many and
Oh,
always will touch her own heart with love.
oh, thanks, Maria.
It just came out. Yeah,
Wow.
because that's what you did to me. And I think you did it to a lot of other people when we met, which was an amazing event, you guys. So, yeah, we both took a risk, put our books out there, and sure enough, somebody recognized it and gave us an award for it, which was nice. And as a
Oh,
result, we met each other.
mhm.
So, anyway, why don't we let everyone know if they're so excited to learn more about you, what you do, your book? Tell us where to go.
Well, you can find me on barbdrummondwrites.com. You can Google Barb Drummond book. I'm sure I'll pop up there somewhere, or find me on all the social medias, Instagram, Facebook,
And
and
I'll be
X.
putting all those links down
Okay.
below and a little
All
bit
right.
about you in the chat. So I want to thank you for your time. I'm so excited to hear about the new little spoiler alert that's around the corner. And I treasure this. I love what she wrote, everyone. I'm just going to share because, it's really cool when you get someone to actually sign a book that you're really attracted to. She put, so lovely meeting you. Thank you for giving my book a home. And it does have a home in my heart and on my shelf. So, with that said, everyone, thank you so much for being here, Barb. Love you and see you next time on Ladies of the Kitchen 30-minute chat.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Had lots of fun, Maria. You take care, and I'll see you soon.